Let me be frank with you. Shirley. Who remembers that? Shirley.
And don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley. Oh my goodness, guys. So, Aiden, you were here last time we met? Yeah, you were here last time.
Yeah.
And we had talked on trapped by control, right? And we've opened that door a little bit. And I said, how to become free. And I said, well, who's here? Who was here last time? And nobody's here except you. So obviously they've been set free.
Yes.
You see? So I was going to share a completely different message that was built upon last time. But now this will not make sense. So now
Makes sense to one guy.
now I gotta revert back. Now I need to revert back to last time we met. This is hard when you try to do a series. If they didn't watch the first one, how are you going to teach us on the second one? Okay.
Yeah, you got to do the little where they say skip.
Skip
What happened
the
last
intro.
week?
Skip the intro. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. This book came from his name is David Cross. He's part of the LL Ministries. This is where I spent time in England. My wife and daughter just came back from a 3-week retreat in the UK, and they brought me back a stack of books. Said, here you go, start reading. And I was like, oh wow, here we go. I love their ministry. I've been a part of interacting with their ministry for over 12 years, since 2009. What is that, 14, 15 years, 16 years? All about inner healing and deliverance. And a big chunk of it is education. Because if you don't teach people about these topics, how would they ever really self-examine themselves to realize that they have an issue? Most things just kind of get overwhelmed with everything we got going on in life. So, in the past we have taught about lordship. We've talked about forgiveness. We have talked about soul ties. We have talked about, who else can remember any of those other topics we've talked about related to bitter judgments, oaths, making oaths, ungodly oaths. Oaths. You know the word oaths? Am I saying it well enough? Oaths. Mm-hmm. I will never do that again. Ooh, that's a big statement. Unless it was evil. Hey, he's probably never do that again. If it was something that just didn't turn out well, you probably don't want to pronounce that over yourself. I will never trust God again because I did last time and it didn't work out. Ooh, that's an ungodly oath. Make sense?
Yeah.
So, trapped by control. We've all heard being self-controlled, right? We've all heard about that because it's a fruit of what?
Spirit.
It's the fruit of the Spirit. And so, one of the things here that I'd like to dive into is there's a question which every person should ask themselves day by day. Who or what controls my life? That's the question. Who or what controls my life? And most strong men would say, nobody. I am my own man. I control my own self. But as you start to look into it deeper, you're like, ooh, there is someone that every time they call, I wince. Every time I hear their voice, I jump a little bit. There is someone that I'm constantly trying to please so I can get their nod of approval. And when they don't give me the approval, I feel like I'm being withheld, something's being withheld from me. So there's a hint of control. Substance. We all talk about substances. Substances can also be very controlling. So that's the intent of this. And there's a godly control, and then there is an ungodly control. And we ourselves could be controlling of our own selves, which can be in an ungodly way. So if you bear with me, by the time we finish, your eyes will be opened a little bit, and you'll say, you know what? I do feel as though there's an issue there. And there's 4 different topics or 4 different areas of our lives that we may have some form of control. And Jesus came that we would have freedom from man, that we would not be trapped by others. And so he said, let me take that heavy burden off of you and replace it with his burden, which is what? Light and easy. Right? We'd be yoked together. And so that's what this is about today, and it's a series. It's based on this book. And so I'd like to invite us on a little bit of a journey here. So one of the questions would be am I being, or have I been wrongly controlled by someone? Here are some questions for us to consider whether or not this applies to us. We've got, you can relate this to a current relationship, but they're just as relevant to a relationship that may have been unresolved from the past. So from your notes, it says here, a yes answer may indicate that I'm being wrongfully controlled by someone. Do I have a fear concerning a particular person? Do my own feelings or opinions seem to be dismissed by them? This is if we're being controlled by someone. Think about it from this perspective. If I was to be controlled by someone, this is how I would think or feel. Do I have a particularly careful or upset? Do I have to be particularly careful or of upsetting this person? Am I indecisive when I'm around this person? Do I have to take steps to avoid this person, if it is possible? Do I feel unsafe with this person? Does this person make me feel angry? Am I more likely than usual to get things wrong in the presence of this person? Do I feel purely grateful if this person is kind or approving towards me? Am I particularly dependent on advice or treatments from this person? Does this person make me feel guilty or ashamed? Does this person seem to dismiss my abilities? Am I unable to have a heartfelt relationship with this person? Heartfelt means like you connect with them emotionally, whereas it's just always superficial. It's always superficial. If you answered yes to any of these, you may, and you thought of a particular person as you answered that yes to, there's a warning that you may be controlled, seemingly controlled by that person, or allowing ourselves to be controlled by that person. Okay? Here's controlled by something. We learn to avoid things that we don't like. Sometimes the avoidance has become so strong that our lives can be seriously controlled by the fears. Also, in looking for significance or comfort for inner distress, we develop certain routines and substances such as alcohol, porn, and other such drugs to control our lives. Yes answers may indicate that I'm being wrongfully controlled by something. Do I avoid certain types of places? Do I avoid certain types of people? And we're not talking about the right places you should be avoiding. There's some places you just shouldn't go, right? We all know about that. Probably shouldn't be going to the bar. Not going to anything good happen there. Even if you're planning to go witness, you are going to be a witness. Yes, you're going to be a witness of what it shouldn't look like to be. Right? Should not go to strip clubs, right? Okay? Definitely don't go there. With the guys from work that want to go out to lunch, and you know they're a rowdy group of guys, guess what? Do not go with them. Because they know you're the believer, they know that you're the Christian, they will take you places that will dethrone you. That is their goal. Just remember that. That is their goal, to take you down places, okay? I say that because I am also a man, and I have also walked with other men that were ungodly, that would love to have brought me down. And at times they did, to be honest. They did. Do I avoid certain types of travel? Do I do certain things in secret? Called those secret sins. Are alcoholic drinks, cigarettes, cups of coffee essential aspects of my daily, weekly routine? In other words, you can't live without them. And if you miss it, there's going to be hell. And you already know it, and you can already prophesy that over your life.
Okay.
Yes, we all do. There's things that we all kind of engage with. I need it, and I do like my coffee. Are certain TV programs or internet sites a must? I gotta get there every day. I gotta watch that program, or I gotta get to that click site. Do I get distressed if my routine is disrupted? Do I experience panicky feelings in certain circumstances? Am I particularly dependent on a certain therapy? Do I avoid activities in which I might fail? That would be a fear of what? Failure. Do I avoid activities that put me in front of people? Do I find it hard to join in with others? Do I get particularly anxious before certain occasions? And do I feel most at ease when I find a way of escaping? If you answered yes to any of these, you may have an area where you're being controlled by something. Do I control other people? That's a big one. I am someone who would tell people that I'm a control freak. And I control my environment. And if I can control it, I can guarantee what the outcome will be, or pretty darn close what the outcome's going to be. And I was pretty confident in that. A highly successful person, I set goals, and I get the results. As I started reading this book, I'm like, my goodness, I may very well be then controlling people as well. Not good. I'm like, that's not where I want to be in life. I don't want to be controlling people, because control is a form of manipulation, right? And so that is part of what we don't want to be doing, is manipulating people. Even if you get a good result, it does not constitute the wrong. Manipulation is also a form of witchcraft. That's what the Bible teaches. It is a form of witchcraft if we manipulate people, even if we want to get what we want. What if it's a good result? It's still a form of control. And so these questions will blow us all up. You're like, okay, obviously I got some there. Obviously I have some of this, that. It's not to condemn us. It's to shine a spotlight on an area that is hidden to our conscious. It's a subconscious area of our life. And now we say, well surely we got to get stuff done. We got to execute the game plan. We got to accomplish by all means necessary. Wrong. It's not by all means necessary. If we're going to be godly leaders, where we have and we walk in the presence of God and we walk in His peace, we have to be able to tone down and abandon the ways of the world, because the father of this world wants us to control. He wants to control us, which is power and authority. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But he wants us to control others also, to get whatever our means is. Okay? We're going to talk about godly authority. We're going to talk about being under the control of godly authority. Then we're talking about there's the ungodly authority as well. Okay, so there's a balance here, and we're going to get there. Okay, now here it is. Do I control other people? Do people seem to avoid real relationships with me? Do my relationships with others often break down? Do I dislike working under someone else's direction? Do I tend to do my own thing? Do I prefer not to be dependent for my needs on other people? Do I find it difficult to receive help, gifts, or advice from others? Am I fearful when I'm not in control of the situation? Do others see me as difficult or critical? Do I have to remind people of my authority? You know, I am the boss. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Do I tend to ignore other people's opinions? Everybody's got one. If there are... I'm answering yes to most of these. Sorry, in my head, did I say that out loud? Yeah. Is there unforgiveness or judgment in my heart towards others? Only the people that have wronged me. Do I avoid delegating to others? They won't do it as good as me. Do I constantly check up on those whom I've delegated responsibility? If we've answered yes to some of those, all of them, or just a couple, we may actually be involved in controlling others. Remember, we talked about there's godly control and there's ungodly control. These would be forms of ungodly control. Do I wrongfully control myself? Isn't self-control a godly characteristic, a fruit of the Holy Spirit? Am I stopping myself from being free to be me? There's a godly self-control, which is the fruit of the Holy Spirit. It's His authority in our lives. But many of us have failed to see that we have taken charge without Him. Yes answers indicate that I'm controlling myself. I'm controlling the person whom God made me to be. Do I find it difficult to express how I really feel? Is it a long time since I cried, laughed, or showed anger in an appropriate way? Most of us men are stoic. You know the term stoic? And we pride ourselves on being stoic. You wouldn't believe it, what took place. Catastrophe. But look at Dad. Stoic. Like, that's a man! Right? A man who is completely detached from his emotions. Do I hate being caught unprepared? Does my diet, exercise, or routine often take precedence over my relationships? I gotta hit the gym, and I gotta hit the gym 3 times a day. You know what I'm saying? I gotta maintain. Never mind, okay. Is there a way of being right with God generally through what I achieve? Is my way of being right with God generally through what I achieve? In other words, performance-based. God will be pleased with me if I lead these 10 people to Christ. And he's not. He's disappointed because I only got 9. Oh. Serious, right? I mean, it's just like that. Do people ever say, I don't really know you? That are around us all the time. Like they see us every day or every other week. I don't really know him. Do I sometimes think that I don't really know myself? Is maintaining appearance more important than true relationships? And that would be, we don't really let other people know what we're going through because they might think less of us, and we cannot allow that. Do I tend towards perfectionism? Do I shut away what I don't like about myself? Am I still feeling guilty for past mistakes? Even though you know God's forgiven you, everybody else has forgiven you, but yet you still tend to beat yourself up over it. Because you want to keep yourself in that place of bondage. Is what I say sometimes different from what's actually in my heart? Is my way of behaving with other people sometimes something of a pretense? Which would be like you're setting them up, right? To try to manipulate the response that you get from people. Sometimes the hardest part of being restored by God is recognizing the real need that we have. These lists have offered an opportunity to explore the issue of ungodly control in our lives. Sometimes we need to ask ourselves difficult questions. Jesus often did that with the people who came to him. The answer to these questions may result in strong indication that something needs to be sorted out in our lives. It's far more important than yes or no answers in searching questions. It's the conviction of God that it's time to bring something before him in truth. He brings conviction only for the purpose of helping us into freedom and healing. These are the steps which we can take to deal with the wrongful control in our lives. He wants us to be free. He came to set us free. He does not want us to be controlled by anything, anybody. He does not want people, our parents as an example, overbearing parents, that it was never good enough. No matter what you did, Joe, you will never get the approval of well done, son. That is a form of control, absolute control. And as adults, we can still be held to that even though we've left the house 20, 30 years ago. We're still, I just need a yes, well done, son. I just need it. Guys, we all need that. We need to give that to our children. We cannot withhold that because then they are then actively trying to please us constantly to get a, you did well. I can remember the first time my dad said, that I can remember him saying, I'm proud of you, son. I was 25 years old. I'm like, and I promise you this. I hung up with him, burst into tears, and fell to the ground. I could not even understand why I behaved that way. Seriously.
You're waiting for it.
I was waiting for it. He held it back. Why? Why would he do that to his son? Why would he do that? It's a form of control. Because when he was proud of me, he would let me know. It might take 25 years. because I was measuring up to his bar. Forget that. I'm sorry. That's ungodly. Okay? So there are benefits of rightful control when we submit ourselves to people of rightful authority. Rightful authority. Here's an example. We don't expect a pilot of an airplane to which we're flying to walk down the cabin and apologize to us for being in control of the aircraft. You know, I'm really sorry that I'm the guy that's up front, directing, the plane through the air at 300, 400 miles per hour. Will you forgive me for that? I hope you're okay with the fact that I'm in control. I'm a control freak. I just got to maintain this plane, and I'm sorry. Could you imagine that? Heck no. Heck no. We made the choice to put ourselves under his hands. And we are more than happy that he exercises the full authority with wisdom he possesses. In fact, the more he demonstrates he's in control, what? The safer we feel. Right? And it's important that we recognize that he's a man. Sometimes it's a woman pilot. And that's okay. And we're in rightful authority, who's in rightful authority because he's been put under that rightful authority. He's been placed in that role, which we've submitted ourselves to openly when we bought the ticket. Sit down, buckle up. We did it. We're like, yep, let's go, lift off. And then here's my prayer. Lord, as we go up, if the plane goes down, take me higher. That's my prayer on every airplane. Lord, I'm in your hands, in the pilot's hands. You take me up. If the plane goes down, just take me now. I do not want to feel the impact. It's just my prayer. I think it's a good prayer. I got to be okay with it. I got to be okay with it. Because really, we're in the hands of the pilot and the Lord.
Hit the ground, you can help the others.
No, if we hit the ground, dude, we're splat.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay, you're right. Okay, how different is this from, same scenario, from the hijacker? Think about the terrorist. He takes that control by force, and he demands that we follow his instructions. He has claimed authority. He claimed authority rather than the authority being delegated to him. We don't have the freedom to choose to put ourselves under his authority, and certainly we are no longer in a safe environment. We've all seen the movies, right? That's not a safe environment. Control is very bad for us when we are in the hands of a terrorist. Control is very good for us when we're in the careful hands of who's been rightfully put in control, who's been put in authority. Does this make sense? So control can be godly and it can be ungodly. Depending on whose authority is in place, it's harmful for us when it undermines our freedom to choose freely. So if we can't choose whether or not we want to be under this person's control, it's ungodly. It's just that simple. Okay? If we can't not go a day without a cup of coffee because it's going to turn me into a goblin to everyone else around me, that coffee has got a hold on us. Make sense? It just does. It don't matter if we love it. And to what level? I love coffee like I love pizza, but not like how I love my wife or my children, right? So if I don't have my coffee, and everybody knows I don't have my coffee, they better watch out. Right, George? George is a former, manager of barista coffee shop. But do you understand? If I don't get my coffee, you better understand that I'm going to treat you badly. What the heck is wrong with this dude? Does this make sense? If there's something in our lives that has that grip on us, I'm going to say it like this. Porn. A lot of guys, they need it. They need it. No, you don't need it. That is destroying your relationships. It's wrecking havoc in your life. No, it's not. It's just me and the porn. No, it's not. It's you with every other person in your life because it impacts every relationship. I know I struggled with this since I was 5. 5 years old, I was doing porn. Introduced to me from all my older brothers. It was introduced to me. And it wrecked relationships. My marriage for a long time. Porn is never a private sin. It's not a secret sin. It is a sin that's out in the open. And it's written all over your face. You were just in the closet. You follow? Men struggle with this openly. They think it's in private, but it's written all over it. There's freedom from that. We can be set free from that. And when we're set free from that, we can walk in confidence to say, you know what? You can be free too. I don't think I can be. No, you really can be. And you can be washed clean and forgiven. And hopefully, if your spouse is aware of it, she'll forgive you. Because even if you don't say it, she's aware of it. She is. You know what I'm saying? You close your eyes, you don't see your wife, you see other women. Right? It makes you feel dirty. It makes me feel dirty. Honestly, guys. Straight up. Porn is one of the biggest issues for men. It needs to be broken. And it can be broken. It is something that fully controls us. We are controlled by it. Okay? And so we can have that area broken. How do we do that? This is not about guilt. It's not about shame. It's about calling it what it is. There's a need that we have that we feel like we're in an area of control. We're controlling this area. We're in control. Actually, you're not in control. And surely the Spirit of God's not in control of that area of our lives. It could be alcohol consumption. A little too much. I have also been there. It was so much so, I built myself a beautiful house, and guess what I put in my house? A beautiful keg machine. I mean, you know, fresh beer out of the keg. Tastes amazing. Until the fact that it's too much and you gain 20 pounds from the extra bloat. And then you're like, I need 5 or 6 a day just to kind of hit that buzz. And I'm a Christian, guys. Love Jesus. But a little bit of excess here and there, guess what it does? It ruins everything. Are we in control or are we not in control? Or does something have the grip on us? That's really what we're talking about here. He said, James, come on, dude, I love Jesus. I'm saved. I'm saved. What the heck? What else is there? I'm pursuit of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right? Is that the American model? Yes, the American model. It ain't the scriptures. It's just what I can have what I want because I got the money I need to go have what I want. That's called